Hello, I hope this story touches your heart. If you like it, don't forget to leave a review and subscribe. Eleanor was sitting in her favorite chair, flipping through an old photo album and fondly remembering how she had supported her granddaughter Amanda at every stage of her life. From her first day of school to her graduation from university, every page was filled with love and pride. She even sold her antique jewelry to pay for Amanda's education at a prestigious university. One day, Eleanor's friend, Mrs. Grace, came to tea and brought news that stirred her soul. "Eleanor, why doesn't your Amanda mention you in her posts?" Grace asked, sipping her tea. "What posts?" Eleanor furrowed her brows. Grace showed her some photos from Amanda's social media page. In the pictures, Amanda shone in expensive dresses, photographed against the backdrop of luxurious parties and luxury resorts. However, there was not a single mention of her grandmother. "Look," Grace pointed out. "She mentions her friends, colleagues, even neighbors, but not a word about you." Eleanor felt her chest tighten. She had always believed that she and Amanda had a special bond. After Grace's visit, Eleanor sat down at her old computer and decided to look at her granddaughter's profile. As she saw the shiny, idealized life that Amanda was showing her followers. There were photos of her with new friends, colleagues, even casual acquaintances, but not a single mention of her grandmother, who had sacrificed everything for her future. Eleanor recalled sending Amanda a warm message a few weeks ago to how she was coping after graduation. She never received an answer. Have I become useless to her? Eleanor thought. The next day she decided to call her granddaughter. After several long rings, Amanda finally answered. "Hi, Grandma, I'm a little busy. What's up?" Her voice sounded cold and distant. "I just wanted to know how you are." Is everything okay?" Eleanor asked. "Everything is fine, thank you. I don't feel comfortable talking right now. Can we talk later?" Amanda quickly replied. Eleanor felt rejected. Her anxiety was growing. She remembered how Amanda had said during her graduation that she would never forget her grandmother's support. Now it seemed like those words meant nothing. That evening, Eleanor decided to talk to her son, Amanda's father. However, his answer upset her even more. "Mom, you're just exaggerating. Amanda is young, she has a new life. Don't take it so personally," he said, not even trying to understand her feelings. Eleanor felt that something deeper was hidden behind this neglect. She needed to find answers, even if it meant revealing things she didn't want to know. Eleanor realized that she had to find out the truth. Was it just youth and new priorities, or was it something much more serious? This mystery haunted her. After the unexpected discovery, Eleanor decided to recall all the moments that connected her with her granddaughter Amanda. She realized that she had to find out more to understand why their relationship had become so cold. Eleanor raised her son Harry in a small town. She worked as a nurse and often stayed late on night shifts to provide him with everything he needed. Harry always appreciated her sacrifice and promised that he would always be grateful for everything she did for him. When Harry grew up, he married Melissa, a woman with an ambitious personality. Their marriage brought Amanda into the family, a charming little girl who became a source of joy for Eleanor since childhood. Amanda often spent time at her grandmother's house, listening to her stories about old times and cooking her favorite pies with her. Their bond seemed unbreakable. "Grandma, you're my best friend," Amanda would often say as they sat together at the kitchen table. Harry was a typical pragmatist. After Amanda was born, he worked for a construction company to provide for the family. Melissa was more interested in status than family values. She was always trying to find ways to show her superiority over others. "We need to think about the future, Harry. We shouldn't waste time on trifles," she often said. Eleanor seemed a little outdated in her views. However, Amanda was always there for her until she moved to a big city to study. When Amanda went to university, Eleanor took care of all her tuition expenses, and she sold a family locket that had been passed down through the generations and some of her savings. "You are my pride," Eleanor said when Amanda received her acceptance letter. Amanda thanked her by hugging her grandmother. But after moving to the city, her life became different. Amanda rarely called from her new life. Her voice became distant and her answers were short. Eleanor tried to keep in touch by sending letters and small gifts. One day, when Amanda came home for the holidays, Eleanor noticed a change in her behavior. "Oh, Grandma, these stories you tell about the past. Everything is different now," Amanda said, turning away from her grandmother. This wound was deep, but Eleanor tried to ignore it, hoping it was just a phase. With each passing day, Eleanor doubted more and more whether it was really just Amanda growing up or whether there was something else behind it. She knew that the answers lay in the memories they shared and in the new circumstances that were yet to be uncovered. Eleanor couldn't sleep for a long time after discovering that Amanda was ignoring her on social media. Something was wrong, and she decided it was time to act. The next day, Eleanor mustered up the courage to call her granddaughter. "Hello, Amanda, how are you?" She began with a friendly tone. Hi, Grandma, everything is fine. I'm busy studying," Amanda replied quickly, as if she didn't want to continue the conversation. I've noticed that you hardly ever post anything about your family." Eleanor tried to start, but was interrupted. Grandma, it's just social media. Everyone uses them now for work or to communicate with friends," Amanda said with a bit of irritation. The conversation ended as quickly as it had begun. Eleanor was left with mixed feelings. Eleanor kept feeling powerless. Eleanor decided to turn to Harry. They met in her cozy living room for a cup of tea. "Harry, I feel like Amanda is pulling away from us. She doesn't even respond to my messages." "What's wrong?" she asked. Harry shrugged his shoulders. "Mom, you know young people are different now. They live in their own world. It doesn't mean she doesn't love you." Her son tried to reassure her. But I did everything I could for her," Eleanor said quietly. Harry advised her to ignore it, but these words did not help her feel better. A few days later, Eleanor decided to talk to Amanda in person. She came to the city and invited her granddaughter to lunch at their favorite cafe. "How are your studies going?" She began the conversation, trying not to show her concern. "Everything is fine, Grandma. I have a lot to do," Amanda replied, looking at her phone. Eleanor took a deep breath and decided to get to the point. Why are you ignoring me on social media?" she asked directly. Amanda looked up and was embarrassed. Grandma, it's not like that. I just don't want my friends to think that I'm, how do I put it, too attached to my family. Everyone is promoting themselves as independent individuals nowadays. She tried to explain. Eleanor couldn't believe her ears. "Our independence. Amanda, I sold the family locket so you could study. I'm not asking for anything more than simple companionship." Her voice trembled with emotion. Amanda didn't know what to say. She apologized, but her words sounded hollow. Eleanor realized that there was more to this than just youth culture. Her intuition told her that there was something deeper behind it. She decided to find out the truth, even if it would require a lot of effort. Eleanor couldn't calm down after their conversation in the cafe. Something in Amanda's words seemed wrong to her. Independence was one thing, but ignoring her own family, especially after all that had been done, raised many questions. One morning, while Eleonora was drinking tea, she received a call from her old friend Marta. "Eleanor, did you see what Amanda posted on Instagram?" Martha asked. "No, Martha, I can't see her page. She blocked me," Eleanor replied, feeling pain at the words. "That's strange. She recently posted a photo with a new car. And she signed it. I live life to the fullest," Marta added. Eleanor froze. A new car. But Amanda had never had any money of her own. The conversation with Martha spurred Eleanor to action. She decided to turn to her son Harry to find out more. "Harry, do you know anything about Amanda's new car?" she asked during dinner. "No, Mom, I don't. She never told me about it," Harry replied, looking surprised. Eleanor decided to check again. She asked a friend of hers who was good with social media for help. A few days later, she managed to see Amanda's page through an anonymous account. Oh, and Eleanor saw a series of photos-lavish parties, expensive purchases, and travels. Amanda bragged about her success, but in the comments she often mentioned a mysterious person who helped her financially. There are good among all the pictures. There was one that attracted special attention. Amanda was standing next to a new car with a signature. I finally got what I deserve. I finally got what I deserve. But that money went to your education. Oh, Eleanor said out loud, feeling indignant. The next day, Eleanor decided to talk to Julia, Amanda's former best friend who had stopped talking to her a year ago. Julia, I know that you and Amanda have not been friends for a long time, but please tell me the truth. What happened? Eleanor begged. Julia hesitated, but finally told Herg. Amanda started to communicate with a group of people who teach you to take everything from life. She always said that family was a burden. And she even mentioned that she planned to use you to get to the next level. Julia's words came as a bolt from the blue. Eleanor realized that Amanda wasn't just trying to live independently. She was deliberately using her grandmother to build her own comfortable world. Now Eleanor was faced with a choice: leave it alone or start fighting for the truth. But she knew one thing for sure: she could not remain silent any longer. Eleanor thought hard about how to inform Amanda's parents about the situation. She knew that this could lead to conflict, but she couldn't let things go any longer. When the time was right, Eleanor invited her son Harry and his wife Lauren to dinner. She carefully prepared their favorite dishes, trying to create a cozy atmosphere. "Mom, dinner is wonderful, thank you," Harry said, raising his glass of wine. Thank you, dear, but I want to talk about something important," Eleanor began. Her voice was trembling. What's wrong?" Lauren asked worriedly. "It's about Amanda. I know you love her and want what's best for her, but we need to have a serious talk about her behavior," Eleanor said, trying to remain calm. Lauren, who had always been reserved, suddenly lost her patience. If this is about her social media posts again, I don't want to hear it. Amanda is young and has the right to live her life," Lauren said, folding her arms across her chest. "But, Lauren, it's not just her choice. I paid for her education, and now she won't even recognize me as family." "That's not right," Eleanor replied. Harry, who had remained silent, decided to intervene. "Mom, I understand how you feel. But maybe you expect too much from Amanda. She's an adult and has her own priorities. Harry, her priorities are parties, new cars, and completely ignoring her family. How can you justify that?" Eleanor's voice rose. Lauren couldn't take it anymore. "Mom, you're always trying to control us. You want Amanda to live up to your standards. But she's different, and that's okay." Eleanor was shocked by these words. "Lauren, I'm not trying to control her. I just want her to be grateful for what I've done for her." "Is that too much to ask?" she asked, feeling tears coming to her eyes. Harry tried to calm the situation. "Let's all calm down. And we're a family, and we have to solve this together. Mom, I promise I'll talk to Amanda." "Thank you, Harry, but please do it soon. I can't live with this tension anymore," Eleanor replied. After that dinner, Eleanor felt that the distance between her and her family had only grown. She realized that the conflict with Amanda was jeopardizing their relationship as a family. Eleanor had been preparing for this conversation for a long time. She knew it would be difficult, but she could no longer remain silent. Her granddaughter, Amanda, had gone too far, and it was time to set the record straight. Eleanor invited Amanda for coffee at a cozy local coffee shop. She chose a place where it was calm, and there was no chance of any dramatic scenes. Amanda arrived late, as usual, busy on the phone and clearly not in the mood for a serious conversation. "Hi, Grandma. Are you okay?" Amanda asked coldly, not even looking up from the screen. "Amanda, I want to talk about us. About what happened between us," Eleanor began. Amanda sighed. "If this is about my social media posts again, I don't understand why you care so much. It's not just about the posts. It's about the way you ignore me. I paid for your education, supported you in everything, and now I feel like you've just abandoned me." Eleanor's voice was trembling. Amanda rolled her eyes. "Grandma, that's not true. I'm just busy. I have friends, school, plans, plans for the future. You have to understand that I can't give you all the attention I want. Amanda, this is not about attention. This is about gratitude and respect. Elra, you never even thanked me for what I did for you, Eleanor replied, holding back tears. I never asked you to pay for my education, Amanda suddenly said sharply. Eleanor froze. These words hurt her more than she could have ever imagined. What did you say? She asked quietly. You always do what you think is right, and then expect gratitude. I didn't want you to spend the money. You decided it yourself, Amanda said, her voice almost accusatory. I did it because I loved you and wanted to give you the best future. Eleanor raised her voice. How could you be so cruel? Amanda crossed her arms. So cruel. You're the one trying to control my life. I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions. Your decisions. You think ignoring me and acting like I don't matter to you is the right decision. Eleanor's voice broke. Amanda was silent for a moment. A hint of guilt appeared in her eyes, but she quickly looked away. Maybe I've been unfair to you, she said quietly. Amanda, I'm not asking for much, just a little respect. Sometimes just a call or a message. Is that so difficult? Eleanor asked, hoping to reach her heart. Amanda looked at her grandmother and sighed. I'll think about it, but you must also understand that I live my own life. Eleanor knew that this was not a final victory, but at least a small step forward. Eleanor couldn't sleep for a long time after the conversation with Amanda. Her granddaughter's words hurt her, but at the same time made her think. Should she continue to fight for Amanda's attention? Or maybe it was time to let go of the situation and focus on herself. The morning began with a call from an old family friend, Tom. He had long supported Eleanor and knew about her difficult relationship with Amanda. Eleanor, you don't seem happy lately, Tom said. You've always lived for others. Maybe it's time to think about yourself. These words touched Eleanor. She had always put her family first, forgetting about her own needs. But now she wondered if she should change her approach. Eleonora sat down in the kitchen with a cup of coffee, going over all the arguments in her head. If I continue to fight for a relationship with Amanda, she thought, won't I lose more of myself? But if I back down, it will mean I've given up. Her internal conflict only grew. She could not accept the fact that the granddaughter she had raised and loved was now rejecting her so easily. But she no longer had the strength to fight endlessly. Eleanor recalled how many years ago she had been in a similar situation with her own daughter, Amanda's mother. Back then, she too had fought for a relationship, but it had ended in mutual insults. They eventually made up, but the experience taught her that sometimes you need to give people time and space. By lunchtime, Eleanor realized that she couldn't force Amanda to change. She needed to accept the situation as it was. She took a photo album off the shelf and started looking through the pictures. Many of them were of a man-dog, a little girl with a smile who adored her grandmother. Eleanor decided to keep these moments in her heart, but not to let the current events destroy her peace. I've done everything I could for her, she said out loud. Now it's time to let her realize for herself what she's missing. Eleonora decided to take care of herself. She enrolled in an art class she had been wanting to take for a long time, and even started planning a trip to a place she had been dreaming about for years. She realized that life did not end because of the conflict with her granddaughter. She still had many opportunities for joy and new discoveries. This choice was difficult, but Eleonora was relieved. She was no longer going to let Amanda control her emotions. If her granddaughter realizes her mistakes, she will be happy to bring her back into her life. But for now, Eleanor decided to focus on what brings her happiness. I love you, Amanda, she said quietly, looking at the old photo. But now I have to love myself. Eleanor sat on the veranda of her house, enjoying her morning coffee. The sun was slowly rising above the horizon, painting the sky in warm colors. She looked out at her garden, where roses had just blossomed, and felt her peace of mind gradually returning to her. This day was special. For the first time in a long time, Eleonora decided to do what she had always been afraid of: live for herself. She no longer woke up with anxious thoughts about how to improve her relationship with her granddaughter. as she accepted the fact that not everything in life depends on her. Today I'm starting from scratch, she told herself as she looked in the mirror. Eleonora had always loved to draw, but had never found the time to do so. And now she decided that the time had come. She enrolled in a painting class where she met other retirees who were also looking for new hobbies. You have a great sense of color," her teacher praised her. Eleonora smiled, and for the first time in a long time, she felt proud of herself. She took out the bucket list she had made many years ago: a trip to a national park, dance lessons, volunteering at a local animal shelter. Now it seemed possible. A life doesn't end when you're over 60, she thought. It just begins. One day, while walking in the park, Eleanor accidentally met her old friend Susan, with whom she hadn't spoken in years. "Eleanor, I didn't even recognize you," Susan exclaimed. They talked for a long time, reminiscing about old times, and agreed to meet again. This was the beginning of the restoration of many old connections that Eleanor had lost due to her focus on her family. One day, the phone rang. Amanda's name came up on the screen. Eleanor hesitated to answer it. Hi, Grandma," Amanda said quietly. "Can I talk to you?" It was the first call from her granddaughter in months. Eleanor felt mixed emotions: joy, anger, hope. "Of course, Amanda," she answered in a calm voice. The conversation was short but meaningful. Amanda apologized for her behavior and promised to visit. Eleanor realized that her granddaughter was also going through a difficult time in her life. She decided not to hold a grudge, but also not to allow herself to live only for the approval of others. If she really wants to fix our relationship, she will find the time to do it, Eleanor thought. Eleanor continued to pursue her hobbies, travel, and socialize with friends. She learned to value herself and her life, even if not all of her loved ones understand this. "My happiness depends on me," she once told her friend Susan. The end of the story left an open question: will Amanda be able to regain her grandmother's trust? Or will Eleanor decide that it is better to keep her distance? And this story reminds us that even after heavy losses and betrayals, life can offer new opportunities. The key is not to be afraid of change and to love yourself.